So, everybody knows Carl. Everybody loves Carl. Carl is quitting Red Karma in Black Desert Online. For those of you that don't know who Carl is by definition, a red Musa. Okay? A red Musa. This is like defines his content. He runs around as a red player and just kills other players indiscriminately. Understand that this sounds like bullying, okay? But it's not, okay? He doesn't care. In his eyes, it doesn't matter if you're a witch, a wizard, a Lan, a Dark Knight, in Aura, in Show Nation. You are all equally worthless. Okay? You're all equally dog water. All right? He doesn't give a shit. You know what we call that? Equality. He doesn't care if you're a man, woman, white, black, blue, orange. No one gives a shit. He will treat you equally. He will kill you no matter what in game. All right? Neptune's his brother? No, if Neptune's actually committed to being a red player all the time, then yes. Most of the time he pussies out. Love you, buddy. That being said, let's see what Carl has to say. The fact that Carl is quitting being a red Karma player in Black Desert is literally changing his identity. Please understand, guys, that this would be like me saying, guys, I'm going to quit being dog shit at PvP. No one would watch me anymore, bro. It like defines me. Like realistically speaking, it would be like, guys, I'm going to quit comedy in Black Desert Online. I'm just not going to make any more jokes. Wouldn't you guys be like, yes, I'm going to head out? You know what I mean? Like, this is essentially what he's doing. He's changing his identity as a streamer, as a player. It's kind of a big deal, right? Like I'm a little concerned for him, I'll admit. But like, let's hear him out. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey guys, if you've read the title of this video, then you probably know what I'll be talking about. It's taken me a long time to come to the realization of how BDO has been affecting me, and so I finally decided to make it come to an end. I am quitting the Red Karma life. Not for a day or a week, but for the foreseeable future. For the past 5 years, I've been an on and off Red Karma player, and for most of it, I've had a blast, but after such a long time, as well as all of the karma changes that have happened to the game, I've come to terms with the fact that it's not possible to win. It's just not fun anymore.
Bro, the developers right now are going, boys, get the champagne out. We got them.
I can go around.
Like, honest to God, if the developers can get Carl, someone is thoroughly dedicated to red life, to quit being red, they've done their jobs. That's what they wanted, right? They don't want red players. It's been pretty obvious. They don't want you to be able to do this. Like, they're having trouble just taking it away outright. They don't just want to take it away. But they're making it harder and harder and harder and harder and harder, right? The developers are like, W.
For hours every day killing players on PvE channels, and sometimes it gets spicy with having to 1vx players, but in the end, what do I truly get out of doing this? Nothing. The karma system has become so punishing to the point that charging people off of horses results in bigger karma penalties than killing them.
I'm so sorry. When this change happened, I almost died. I almost died. Like, literally, you know that Jay was, like, auto-pathing his horse training one night, and some loser came and just charged him off his horse, and he said, that's it! And then, like, the next patch, they were like, fuck them. Now, if you flag up and charge someone off their mount, bam! Negative karma. Bam! Negative karma. Do not interact with other players. Stop doing it. Just stop doing it. Like, this is crazy. This is like the one time that the devs had they were showing off their new boat. They were like, hey, this is a new boat we're designing. It's like a Giga Chad Carrack. It was like super upgraded, massive, huge deck. Women love the size of the deck of this boat. Insane boat. It had like 3 times the cannon power of the closest Carrack with blue gear. It was faster than everyone else. Blah, blah, blah. It didn't matter. Okay. Then They had an event where they were just sailing around. They turned everybody into otters. It was all cute. And they started sailing around. And what they didn't think was going to happen was they didn't think that anyone would come with them. They didn't think that someone named Lolly Pirate would come and try to sink them. Okay? They thought that they were on the Titanic. And they were right. Before and after the movie, respectively. Like, they literally, I'm telling you right now, Lolly Pirate has Ebonroot's Null, and what the developers do not understand, well, they do now. What they do now is that you could sail a fleet of 20 ships, fully geared, best sailors in the game, into Lolly Pirate, and they would all sink without landing a shot. That is how good of a sailor Lolly Pirate is, and that is how impactful Ebonroot's Null is as an item on the ocean. Essentially, you have S Instant Excel, and everyone else only has Instant Excel. Okay? You're just way faster. They sank the dev boat on the thing, and the very next patch, the developers literally tanked red karma on the ocean to downgrade blue gear upon death. Upon your boat sinking. So if you're red karma, they made it way more punishing. Literally the next patch, they were so pissed. They were super, super mad. I guarantee you something like this happened here, but the developers have been cracking down on red karma changes for a while. Like, do I agree with them? To be honest with you, yeah. But here's the thing. I really do think that they just need to remove karma and just remove open world flagging from the game as it currently stands and introduce a better system. Again, open world PvP is dead. Karma changes basically make it impossible to open world PvP as it is. Just remove it. We know you want to. And give us a system that actually works. Okay, so make people flag for PvP before they leave safe zone, but they get a 50% drop rate buff that stacks over the 300 marker if they flag for PvP. But if they do flag for PvP, they can be killed indiscriminately by other players with absolutely no punishment. And if they don't flag for PvP, they can't be killed if they leave a safe zone. Unless they're a war target. A war deck can kill them even if they're not flagged for PvP. It's really simple. It's really not that hard. New World, World of Warcraft does this too. It's really not that difficult. But like, there's a number of different changes people have proposed that they could do with this. We know that they want to remove Alt-C from the game altogether. Just do it. Honest to God, just do it and give us something better. Holy moly.
The punishments for engaging in any form of PK have just become a list of annoyances, and using Alt+C against anyone is a straight up disadvantage in every situation. EO used to be an open world filled with players interacting with each other, fights over grind spots, guild wars breaking out randomly, and it just felt like it was an actual open world PvP game.
Well, the world's much bigger now. I know what Carl's saying. I understand that. But the world is way bigger now. Before, the world was from Calpheon to Medaya. That was it. And there were more players. Okay? So there were more players fit into less space. Of course, there's going to be way more interaction. Of course, PvP is going to feel way better. There's constantly players on every server doing everything. Right? But like now, the world is 6x times what it was before. Okay? And there's less players than there were at launch or in the first like year or two of the game. So like, yeah, the world's going to feel a little less big, and they're going to have to try to retain their players a little bit better. Like the harassment just doesn't hit as hard because the world is so big, it's really easy for a player to feel like he's being targeted. He's like, why is he hitting me? I just swapped servers. I just went to a different grind zone. Why am I still getting harassed, right? And that in the developer's mind makes people quit the game. Most importantly, it made all those Lost Ark players quit the game when they came over from Lost Ark. What the developers failed to realize was those players were going to leave anyway. But PvP needs to be changed regardless. It just needs open world PvP needs to be completely reworked.
But over the years, all of that has been taken away from us. Guild wars are purely...
They have made guild wars a lot harder. They've made open world PvP a lot harder. I 100% understand his point. But also understand the world is bigger. The game is different now. It's much more PvE focused than it used to be.
Consensual, and if you get griefed over a grind spot, there is no way to declare war on that guild because the GM of that guild will have to accept the deck. Duel for spots are basically non-existent. Marnie Realm is provided every other hour for players to grind in their single player world. The karma system is family-wide, so if you decide to PK someone more than 2 or 3 times, your whole account gets put into negative. You're not
I love Jay used the whiteboard one time in his Q&A thing. He's like, here, I can't explain the new node war system to you because it's so complicated. This dude pulled out the whiteboard and I was like, this is going to be the best meme tool you've ever given us. Thank you so much, Jay. I very much appreciate that. And sure enough, damn, it's true though.
not able to play tagged characters as a red player. You lose crystals and lightstones every time you die to someone as a red player. It takes 20 hours.
They should have just removed him from the game. Instead, what they did was, all he's supposed to say is, that's all in the past now. And so what the PvPers did was they just photoshopped Jay's face in there, put a berserker hand in there, and then put PvP in front of it. And it's just too good. It's too easy.
To recover karma from minus
Like, you're with some of the people that are the best at memeing in the genre.
10 million, and the list goes on. The point being that your whole account gets griefed the moment you decide to go red. And so I've come to terms with that fact. I really wish the developers cared more about creating a healthier balance between PvE and PvP, but it just won't happen. The open world...
Okay, here's the hot take. I feel like they are. I feel like they're creating a much better, healthier balance between PvP and PvE. And the reason is they're taking PvP and they're isolating it. They're isolating it in practice AOS. They're isolating it in Guild League. They're isolating it in Node Wars with revamping the Node Wars system. They're isolating it in War of the Roses. Okay. And this takes the burden, and one-sided deck changes are no longer like, you know, you can't like one-sided deck and just harass a guild into the ground. You can't hunt a player down, right? This is all stuff that used to overlap with PvE, and it made players' experiences just objectively worse in most cases. Yeah, it was better. It was great for the players that were bullying the other players, but let's be honest, when you're on the receiving end of it, it doesn't feel so good, right? But like, what the developers did is, instead of allowing you to have this ridiculous open world toxic PvP nonsense where you can just kill players indiscriminately, hunt them server to server, and run their guild into the ground, now there's structured game modes where PvPers can go actually fight in a reasonable fight, like 10v10 Guild League, which is a lot of fun, custom AOS, practice AOS. I'm sure that ranked AOS will come around again, Copium soon, but like, and then Node Wars and stuff, like all of the PvP is being moved to be instanced and moving away from this. Yeah, we're just going to constantly harass people that just want to PvE and play the game. I would argue that their balance between the two has actually gotten better, because I think that they are healthier. The word he used was healthier. I believe that this is a healthier way for all players to experience the game. Yes, people that typically bully other players or that just want to flag up and kill everybody are having a worse time. But you need to understand that those players are in the vast, vast minority of players in the game. Okay? Like, PvPers make up less than probably 1% of the overall Black Desert population as a whole. Like that, and it's just that simple. So like, they're trying to help the PvE players live a little bit more in peace while giving the PvP players an outlet where they can go to kind of outlet their PvP and go fight other PvPers, right? But the problem is, what a lot of PvPers, that what they want to do is they don't want to fight other PvPers. They want to fight players that can't fight back. Because let's be honest, shitting on a player that can't defend himself feels kind of good sometimes, right? We've all been there. Feels like shit to be that player. But like, the players that are killing you, they just want to feel good because they've been playing the game like way longer than you, and they're just running you the fuck down. Anybody that's saying nah, have you ever seen a Smurf in League of Legends? Have you ever seen a Smurf in Overwatch? How about StarCraft 2? Right? Like, when players are insecure about their current rank and they don't want to fight people that are currently at their rank, they just make a Smurf account and they play against players that they know they can beat. And then if they lose, they point the finger at everyone else and say, I did everything I could. I'm better than you anyway. My main is gold. Right? Like, what are we even talking about? Like, this, it's the same behavior in BDO. Right? if you can't fight Show Nation, okay, if you can't fight Digital, Corrupt, Barcode, Ventus, any of the PvP guilds, well, I'd rather just go find some random dude on Arsha that is in some random PvE guild that's just trying to grind, and I just want to run him into the ground because I have more gear and I understand what a super armor is better than he does. You know what I mean? Like, it can be fun. I agree. It's fun. Go to Arsha. Go to Anonymous Arsha. Okay? Go into the battle arena. You can bully people in the battle arena. Okay? Go to Guild League. Smurf in that. Okay? Just go Smurf in AOS. You can just keep making accounts and Smurf in AOS. Whatever. But, like, they're taking away your ability to shit on players in the open world where there's, you know, things to be lost here. Right? In this case, money. Leo Key, thanks for that 14-man raid. I really appreciate it, buddy. Thanks so much for the raid, buddy.
Has truly become purely PvE based, to the point that PK being removed from the game wouldn't change anything, as players don't.
I mean, this is how it is, man. Like, this is what it is. Go to Arsha. If you want to run around killing people all day, just go to the Arsha channels. That's what they're there for. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It's sad that Carl's quitting the red life. I think that true red players, I don't think there's anything wrong with that playstyle, because typically what a red player will come, typically what a red player will do is they'll come into your rotation, they'll kill you, and then they will leave. And they'll go kill the next person. And they'll go kill the next person. They'll swap servers, they'll kill the next person, right? But they're not targeting you, okay? The reason for all these changes are the people that are targeting players server to server, especially on their home servers, and just running guilds down or just running players down. So, like, and nobody likes that. It's not a big enough game. There's not enough PvPers left to really warrant doing that anymore. Most of the PvPers that actually like PvP are going to do Guild League. They're going to do AOS. They're going to do Node War. They're going to do Siege. They're going to do War of the Roses. And they're going to be happy about that. And if they really want to, they can RBF. There's one RBF running, typically most of the time. Like, or they have Arsha. Or they can go to... Don't tell me that you don't have enough outlets for your PvP. Don't tell me you need to be able to flag on players so that you can assert how much bigger your E-penis is than the other player. You don't need to do that, okay? It feels good to be able to shit on somebody that can't fight back. I get it. Go do that on Arsha. Go do that on Season Arsha. Go do that on other stuff. Okay? There's other servers. There's outlets where you can go do this. But on the main servers, they're trying to get rid of it. That's the truth.
Don't interact with each other anymore anyways, unless it's to grind on top of each other. I didn't want to make this into a massive rant. I just wanted to share my thoughts on why I need to make this change. The Red Karma life has no incentive in this game, and so I'll be going back to blue. I will try my best to keep the content going in the game and focus on finishing my gear, playing on Arsha, and just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, and feel free to let me know your thoughts. Time to recover 10 million.
I guarantee you the comments are all just like, this game is a bunch of powder puff losers. Glue sniffing snowflake. Like, I guarantee you. Like, it is what it is, son. The first person who ever killed me in BDO was Carl outside of Heidel. He was the big mean red moose. I thought he was the absolute worst. Many years later and a lot of gear score later, we have fought over spots such as Gyphon Underground. Mostly it was him just stampeding with his Zerk and having a blast. Between that and seeing him when Land of the Morning Light released, getting his Dawn gloves, tipping me on how to progress in quests and exchange mats to get ASAP, the red player that I thought was the worst, was one of the best sights to behold on the EU servers. Besides the whole bad for new undergeared players where we actually lost absolutely nothing, XP crystals, whatever, Carl absolutely changed my opinion on the attitude towards red players. And to me, this feels like bad news in general for the aspirational open world PvPers. I hope Jay lets you have your fun soon again. It was sure a lot of fun on my server, in my opinion. So I don't think that any player is quitting the game because they got killed once in the open world. Nobody's going to do that. Okay. Nobody's going to kill. Nobody's going to do that. All right. What the developers are trying to stop are the players that are just trying to exploit it to go server to server. That's why I said before, true red players are totally fine. And really no players are going to have issues with this, especially since you can't feed players to mobs. Before you can make a case, oh yeah, well, they can feed me to mobs, so I hate red players. Now you can't make that any that case either. Red player's gonna come in, they're gonna kill you, and they're probably just gonna move on. Yeah, you might have to pop a perfume again. Yeah, whatever, dude. It's all good. Okay? It's the players that just sit there and they want to camp your body, and then you swap servers, which feels really bad because you have to stop your Decky lantern or whatever. You swap servers, yeah, that feels bad. And then here they are again. They're here to kill you again. And they're going to stand on your body again. They're going to do it again. Okay? They're stopping that from happening anymore. Those players. Like, those players are what are ruining it for everybody else. Okay? Now, red players, they don't follow you server to server. They're just going to kill you indiscriminately. It is what it is. Right? That barely happens on normal PvE servers. Yeah. I know. But barely happens is different than not happens at all. They don't want to lose any more players to that kind of behavior. And I don't blame them. Right? We just had Zachary quit the game for the same reason. I don't know. Have you guys seen the Zachary video? He quit the game. We can watch that if you guys want to. But like, it's really sad to see. It's really sad to see Carl quit the game. Or I mean, not quit the game, but like quit being a red player. But I hope he finds more enjoyment out of the game now that he's not a red player anymore. I hope that he finds the enjoyment that he needs out of the game and continues to make content in a very healthy way. The way that Carl did red was the did the red playstyle was the way that all players. He set the example. He set the example. He's an absolute specimen. It's tragic to lose him as a red player. Hopefully he has a lot of fun on Arsha. Yeah. Like, and I will say, if somebody does kill you, so I've watched this. I'm quitting BDO, and here's why. So we'll watch this. I've watched it already once before, guys. Yeah. But like, yeah, I just think that it's a shame that Carl quit the game. I mean, that Carl quit being red, but like, I hope that again he finds a new way to make content. You know what I mean? He finds a new identity that he loves, and I'll support him through it. It's tragic, but it's the end of an era, and it's bound to happen. You know what I mean?